The morning sky over Earth was calm, soft sunlight spilling over cities, forests, and oceans. Birds sang and people went about their daily lives, unaware that the universe beyond their world was watching them. Humanity had always looked at the stars with wonder, imagining the mysteries that floated in the endless black. They built ships, satellites, and telescopes, reaching farther than any species had ever gone. Their dreams were simple: exploration, knowledge, and connection. But the galaxy had other plans. On the edges of human space, far beyond Mars and Jupiter, sensors began to buzz with strange signals. Small at first, almost like whispers in the vastness, then louder, sharper, impossible to ignore. Admiral Reyes stood on the bridge of the flagship Horizon, the pride of Earth's fleet, staring at the holographic displays flickering before him. His face was calm, but inside, a storm of thoughts raged. Every officer around him felt it too, the tension in the air, the quiet knowing that something unprecedented was about to happen. "They're moving fast," said Lieutenant Kieran's voice, tight, pointing to the trajectory of massive dark shapes moving through the void. The holographic display showed hundreds of alien vessels, sleek, jagged, and enormous, each one bristling with weapons humanity had only begun to imagine. They moved as one, a silent swarm with deadly purpose, and for the first time, humans faced the terrifying possibility that their home was about to be attacked. Admiral Reyes took a deep breath, letting his eyes sweep over his crew. Young officers, some fresh from the academies, others veterans of minor skirmishes on the outer colonies, all looking to him for guidance. "Stay calm," he said, his voice firm but quiet. "We've trained for this. Humanity has always adapted, and we will adapt now. Remember who we are. The aliens struck first." A pulse of energy erupted near Saturn's orbit, disintegrating communication satellites in a heartbeat. Humanity's early warning network picked it up instantly, alarms shrieking through every ship and station. The first shockwave reached Earth. Within minutes, and cities shook, their inhabitants running to windows, watching the sky tremble. The news spread like wildfire. Something had attacked, and it came from the stars. People panicked, but humanity never gave in to panic for long. Governments activated emergency protocols, and the fleet moved toward Earth's orbit. Humans had spent decades preparing for the impossible, building weapons, shields, and strategies that no one else had dared. Engineers, scientists, and strategists had worked quietly, preparing for a moment that no one wanted to believe would come. That moment was here. On the bridge of the Horizon, Admiral Reyes clenched his fists. "They struck first," he whispered, almost to himself. He looked at the young ensigns around him, their hands trembling slightly as they manned the controls. "But striking first doesn't mean winning." His words were more than reassurance. They were a promise, a declaration that humanity would not falter even in the face of annihilation. Outside the ship, the alien fleet moved with terrifying precision. Hundreds of vessels, black as night, stretched across the stars, their shapes unfamiliar and menacing. Each one pulsed with strange energy, weapons glinting as they aimed toward Earth. Humans watched in awe and fear. No species in recorded history had faced such a threat and lived. Humanity had survived countless challenges on their home planet, but now the challenge was cosmic, and the stakes were higher than ever before. Commander Lee, overseeing the tactical operations, activated the fleet's advanced sensors. She studied the alien formations, memorizing patterns, weaknesses, and energy signatures. "Admiral, their fleet is massive, but they are predictable," she said, her voice steady. "We can do this!" Her confidence spread through the bridge like sunlight piercing clouds. The officers began moving with renewed purpose, their fear replaced with determination. Humanity might be small compared to this armada, but their minds, hearts, and courage were unmatched, As Earth prepared, people on the surface looked to the sky. Families huddled together, soldiers lined the coasts, and pilots raced to their ships. Humanity had always fought not just for survival, but for each other, and that instinct burned brighter than any fear. Children watched news feeds, eyes wide, with a mix of terror and awe, realizing that this was history in motion. Humanity was about to face its greatest test, and the universe was about to learn that humans never surrendered. Admiral Reyes walked across the bridge, placing his hand briefly on the rail near the viewing window. Through the reinforced glass, he could see the faint glimmer of the alien fleet, stars reflected in the dark hulls of their ships. "We will fight," he said, louder now, to all who could hear. "Not because we want war, but because we must. Protect what we love. We will defend our home, our families, and our future. Humanity is not weak. Humanity is not afraid. Humanity survives." Silence fell for a moment, a quiet before the storm. The alien fleet surged forward, engines glowing, weapons charging, but humanity was ready. Earth's fleet, though smaller, moved in perfect formation, like a living organism. Every crew member, every pilot, every officer knew their role. Fear existed, yes, but it was harnessed, transformed into something stronger: courage, resolve, and unity. The first moments of war were seconds away. Across the galaxy, humans held their breath. They remembered every story of survival, every victory against impossible odds. They remembered the hardships that had shaped their species into something resilient, creative, and unstoppable. And, as the first shots were about to be fired, humanity stood together, ready to prove that even when aliens struck first, humans could erase fear with will and strike back with unmatched strength. Admiral Reyes turned once more to his crew. "This is humanity's moment," he said, "not just to fight, but to show the universe who we are. Prepare yourselves. Humanity does not retreat." And then the stars themselves seemed to shudder as the first alien attack reached the edges of Earth's defenses. The calm of morning vanished, replaced by the roar of engines, alarms, and the heartbeat of a species ready to fight for its very existence. The sky above Earth darkened as alien ships moved closer, their massive black hulls cutting across the stars. Cities trembled under the weight of unseen engines, and alarms blared in every control center. Humanity had seen ships in space before, but nothing like this. These vessels were enormous, towering over human battleships, their designs sharp, jagged, and alien in every sense. No human eyes had ever seen anything so threatening, and yet, humanity did not flinch. On the horizon, Admiral Reyes paced the bridge, watching the approaching fleet. His fingers tapped rhythmically on the railing as he considered the scale of the threat. "They think their size will scare us," he said quietly. "They think striking first will give them victory. They are wrong." The crew listened, their nerves tight, but their hearts steadied by his presence. Humans may have been small compared to these alien giants, but courage and intelligence were their true weapons. The first attack came without warning. Alien energy pulses streaked through space, tearing through satellites and orbital defenses. In seconds. Cities below shuddered as electromagnetic shocks rippled across communication networks. Lights flickered. Airplanes lost guidance. People ran into the streets, eyes turned skyward, fear reflected in their faces. In mere minutes, the reality became clear. Humanity was under assault. Commander Lee moved swiftly to her station, analyzing the alien formations. "Admiral, they're using concentrated strikes to test our defenses," she said. "They want to see our response. They are confident. Too confident." Her fingers flew across holographic panels, activating shields, recalibrating weapons, and preparing hundreds of ships for immediate combat. Every second counted. Every human life depended on the fleet's precision and readiness. On Earth, military installations came alive with urgency. Pilots scrambled into cockpits. Soldiers loaded defensive weapons. Engineers monitored orbital shields, adjusting them to absorb the first wave of attacks. Humanity had spent decades preparing for this scenario, and now every plan, every calculation, every sleepless night of study and practice would be put to the ultimate test. The alien fleet advanced with terrifying efficiency. Their ships moved in perfect synchrony, firing waves of energy that tore through human defenses. Explosions lit the darkness of space, debris scattering like glowing rain. Despite their advanced technology, the aliens underestimated one critical factor: humanity's resilience. Humans adapted, recalculated, and fought back with strategies no one could predict. Lieutenant Kieran yelled over the noise of the bridge, "Shields holding at 75%. Weapons ready in 15 seconds." Her eyes sparkled with determination, not fear. Humanity had always faced stronger enemies, and though this was unlike anything they had seen, their spirit remained unbroken. Humanity had survived floods, fires, plagues, and wars. They had endured every challenge Earth had thrown at them. Now the challenge was cosmic, and humans were ready. Admiral Reyes raised his hand, signaling the fleet. "Return fire. Target the leading vessels. Aim for weak points. Humanity strikes not because we hate, but because we must protect." Every human ship obeyed, firing beams, missiles, and drones with precision. The first alien battleship erupted in brilliant light, disintegrating into fragments that floated helplessly through space. Gasps of awe and relief rippled across the bridge. Humanity had. The alien fleet hovered over Earth like a shadow, massive and menacing. But humanity was ready. The first assault had shaken them, yes, but it had also awakened a determination stronger than fear. Humans had been attacked, but they refused to cower. The horizon led the fleet, cutting through the darkness of space, engines glowing with quiet power. Admiral Reyes stood at the bridge, eyes sharp, voice calm yet commanding. "Now we fight back," he said. "Not because we hate, but because we protect everything we love." Commander Lee activated the fleet's counterattack systems. Thousands of drones launched silently from every ship, each controlled by advanced AI designed to adapt instantly. They swarmed the alien vessels like a living storm, invisible to the enemy's sensors until it was too late. Humans had spent decades preparing for this. Every drone, every missile, every energy beam had been engineered for this very moment. And now, it was working. The first alien battleship erupted in a blinding flash. Its hull tore apart under the precision strikes of human weapons. Seconds later, another ship followed. The alien formation staggered, their movements disrupted. Shock waves rippled through their fleet as human missiles and energy beams found weak points that their own science had overlooked. Humanity's engineers had anticipated every possible weakness, every blind spot. Every attack counted, and every shot struck with deadly precision. On the bridge of the horizon, Admiral Reyes watched the display, pride mixing with sorrow. Every explosion meant victory, yes, but it also meant lives lost in the first alien strike. Humanity's victory was not free. It was paid for in courage and sacrifice. Still, he knew one truth. Humans fought not just for survival, but for each other, for their families, and for the future of Earth. That bond gave them power beyond the alien weapons. Pilot Juno gripped her controls, weaving through alien fire with daring precision. "They didn't expect this," she shouted, voice full of adrenaline and disbelief. "We're stronger than they thought." Around her, human pilots executed maneuvers no alien could anticipate, attacking from impossible angles, striking in patterns that seemed chaotic, but were meticulously planned. Humanity had turned the tables. They had survived the first strike, and now they were hunting. Even in the chaos of battle, the human fleet worked with unity. Ships communicated silently, movements synchronized, every officer understanding their role. This coordination, born from years of training and experience, made humans more than individuals. They were a single force, adaptable, relentless, and courageous. The alien fleet, though massive and powerful, had underestimated this unity. They had thought fear would dominate, but courage burned brighter than any weapon. Energy beams lit up the void as human weapons tore through alien shields. Ships that once inspired terror now fell like dominoes, explosions scattering debris across the darkness. Humanity's counterattack was precise and overwhelming. Every maneuver, every strike carried a message to the galaxy. Humans would not be destroyed. Humans were not prey, they were defenders, warriors, and survivors. On Earth, people watched live feeds, hearts pounding. Children clutched their parents, soldiers stood in silent awe, and entire cities held their breath. Humanity was not only fighting, it was winning. Every explosion, every victory filled the world with hope. Across the globe, people felt the unity of their species. Humanity had always overcome impossible odds, and now the universe was witnessing it firsthand. Lieutenant Kieran, monitoring the alien formations, spoke urgently. Their front line is collapsing. If we press now, we can break their fleet entirely. Admiral Reyes nodded. Timing was critical. Humans had learned long ago that courage alone was not enough. It had to be paired with precision, strategy, and the willingness to act decisively. "Execute the strike plan," he commanded. "Leave nothing to chance. Humanity fights as one." The human fleet surged forward, missiles launching, drones swarming, energy beams slicing through alien defenses. One by one, alien ships disintegrated in brilliant flashes of light, leaving only shadows where once they had loomed. Humanity struck not with rage, but with skill, intelligence, and determination. Each victory was not just survival. It was proof that humans, small and fragile in form, were unstoppable in spirit. Even as they destroyed the alien ships, human crews felt the weight of loss. The first alien strike had taken lives, and some of their own ships had fallen in battle. Each explosion carried both triumph and grief. Admiral Reyes moved through the bridge, quietly acknowledging the bravery of his officers, silently honoring those who would never return home. Humanity's victories were not without cost, but every life lost inspired the living to fight harder, smarter, and braver. As the alien fleet began to falter, humanity pressed the advantage. Pilot after pilot, ship after ship, struck with precision and courage. The aliens had assumed superiority, believed fear would dominate, and counted on humanity's retreat. They had underestimated humans, their resilience, creativity, and unbreakable spirit. Now they realized their mistake. Humanity was not a species to be conquered. Humanity was a force to be reckoned with. Admiral Reyes watched the battlefield, pride swelling alongside sorrow. "They struck first," he said softly, almost to himself. "But we strike back stronger. Humanity survives because we fight with our hearts, not just our weapons." Around him, officers nodded, eyes shining with determination. Every human in the fleet knew the truth. They were fighting not only for today, but for every generation that would follow. The void of space erupted. In light fire and courage, humanity had survived the first assault, turned the tide, and now stood victorious in this opening battle. The alien fleet had been stunned, disorganized, and terrified. Humanity had proven that even when struck first, they could respond with unmatched skill and heart. And as the stars glimmered around the battlefield, Earth itself seemed to hold its breath. Humanity had fought, endured, and struck back. The universe would remember this day, the day humans showed that no attack could break their spirit, that even in the face of annihilation, Humanity's courage burned brighter than any alien weapon, the Yao. Alien fleet, once confident and unstoppable, now wavered. Humanity's counterattack had torn through their formations, leaving their ships scattered and confused. Massive black vessels drifted in the void, some burning, others struggling to maintain control. The aliens had expected fear, retreat, and chaos, but they had found instead precision, courage, and unity. Humanity's heart had become their deadliest weapon. On the bridge of the horizon, Admiral Reyes watched the alien vessels falter. He could see the fear reflected in their energy signatures, subtle shifts in movement, hesitation where there had been confidence. "They didn't expect us to fight back like this," he said quietly, voice tinged with both awe and determination. "They thought they could strike first and crush humanity. They were wrong." Around him, the crew worked tirelessly, moving as one. Every human ship, every pilot, every operator had learned the rhythm of battle, adapting instantly to the unexpected. Chaos. Commander Lee's fingers danced across holographic controls. "Their front lines are breaking," she said, her voice steady despite the tension. "If we push forward, we can force a complete collapse." The fleet responded instantly. Energy beams shot across the void, striking alien vessels in precise, coordinated attacks. Swarms of AI-driven drones targeted critical points, dismantling enemy ships from the inside out. Humanity's technology, combined with human creativity and courage, was a force the aliens had never encountered before. Even as the humans advanced, the cost of battle was clear. Some ships had been destroyed in the initial strike, brave pilots, lost in the chaos of combat. Every officer aboard the Horizon felt the weight of those sacrifices. Admiral Reyes moved among his crew, placing a reassuring hand on shoulders, offering quiet words of encouragement. "Every life lost strengthens our resolve," he said softly. "We fight not for glory, but for them, for our people, our families, our planet." Across the battlefield, the alien fleet struggled to regain order. Their once perfect formations were now scattered, their attacks disorganized. Human pilots exploited every weakness, striking from unexpected angles, weaving through enemy fire, with daring maneuvers that seemed impossible. Juno, one of Earth's finest pilots, laughed with exhilaration as her ship darted between two massive alien cruisers. "They can't keep up," she shouted. "We're unstoppable!" The human fleet pressed the advantage. Missiles, energy beams, and drone swarms struck relentlessly. Each alien ship destroyed sent a clear message to the rest. Humanity would not be intimidated. Humanity would not yield, and humanity would fight with every ounce of ingenuity and courage they possessed. The void of space became a theater of human resolve, a place where bravery burned brighter than any weapon. On Earth, people watched in awe. Cities held silent vigils, families clasped hands, and soldiers prayed for the safety of those among the stars. Humanity had faced impossible odds before, on land and sea, but never like this. Never against a force so alien, so powerful, so relentless. And yet, humans endured. Humans adapted. Humans struck back with a ferocity and intelligence no one could have imagined. Lieutenant Kieran monitored the alien communications, which were fractured and chaotic. "They're panicking," she said. "Their coordination is gone. They don't know where to strike, how to respond." The battle had shifted, but the victory came at a heavy price. Across the void of space, human ships floated among the wreckage of both alien and human vessels. Explosions had ended, but silence now carried its own weight, heavy and suffocating. The sky, once full of fire and movement, was calm, eerily quiet, as if the universe itself mourned alongside humanity. For every alien ship destroyed, for every victory achieved, there was a reminder of what had been lost. Friends, comrades, and brave souls who had never returned home. On the bridge of the horizon, Admiral Reyes walked slowly, each step measured, each thought heavy. He had watched countless battles, commanded countless missions, but nothing compared to this. His eyes swept across the crew, seeing their exhaustion, their grief, and their determination. "We won," he whispered, almost to himself. "But the cost is too great." His voice, though quiet, carried across the bridge, touching the hearts of every officer and pilot. They had survived, yes, but survival was not victory without remembering those who had given everything. Commander Lee stood at her station, eyes fixed on the debris drifting through space. Her hands trembled slightly, though she hid it behind. Practiced control. "We fought well," she said softly. "We struck with precision, but so many are gone." She thought of the young pilots who had never seen the sun, of engineers who had dreamed of peace but were now forever part of war. Humanity had erased the alien fleet, but each victory carried sorrow. It was the paradox of being human. Strength, intertwined with vulnerability, courage shadowed by loss. Even among the surviving crews, silence was heavy. Pilots sat in their cockpits, staring at screens that once flashed with explosions, now showing the emptiness of space. Messages from lost comrades remained unanswered, radio channels empty except for the hum of life support and distant signals. The grief was collective, a shared weight that bound humanity together even in sorrow. Every human, from the youngest ensign to the most experienced admiral, knew that victory was not free. Every life lost mattered, every sacrifice was remembered, and every survivor carried the memory of those who had fallen. On Earth, families watched news feeds with tears in their eyes. Children tried to understand why heroes they had never met had to die to protect them. Soldiers and civilians alike felt a mix of pride and grief. Humanity had survived the first strike and turned the tide against the alien fleet, but the cost was etched into every face, every heart, every city that had waited in fear. The victory was celebrated quietly, with somber reflection, because true triumph could not erase the shadows of loss. Lieutenant Kieran, still at her station, spoke to the bridge crew. "We will rebuild. We will honor them. But for now, we must stay focused. Their fleet may be shattered, but this is not the end. Humanity's enemies will remember us, and so will we." Her words were both a warning and a promise, carrying the unspoken message that humanity's resolve was stronger for every sacrifice made. The fallen were not forgotten. They fueled the courage of the living. Admiral Reyes paused before a large viewport looking down toward Earth. Cities shimmered in the sunlight, oblivious to the chaos that had unfolded above. He remembered every young face lost, every life that would never see another sunrise. And yet, he also felt pride, fierce and undeniable, in the hearts of those who had survived. Humanity had faced annihilation and endured. Humanity had struck back against a force far larger and more powerful than themselves. And humanity had done it not with hate, but with courage, intelligence, and heart. The silence of space was interrupted by faint messages from other human fleets scattered across the galaxy. Each report carried similar stories: sacrifice, sorrow, bravery, and defiance. Humanity was small in size compared to the alien armada, but their spirit was immeasurable. Every pilot, every engineer, every soldier who survived carried a piece of that spirit forward, a beacon of hope for those still fighting, for those still alive, and for the generations yet to come. Among the debris, some humans floated alone, tending to damaged ships, rescuing those stranded in the void, performing miracles born of skill and desperation. Each act of bravery reminded the crew of the bonds that defined humanity. They fought for each other, for their planet, and for a future where no one would be left behind. It was this unbreakable connection, this unwillingness to surrender even in the darkest hour, that had allowed humans to survive where others might have fallen. The horizon itself bore scars from the battle, burn marks along the hull, flickering, systems and crew members quietly repairing what could be fixed. The ship had survived because humans had fought with more than weapons. They had fought with heart, with creativity, and with unity. Every repaired console, every patched shield was a testament to human resilience. Humanity did not only endure, humanity adapted, rebuilt, and prepared for whatever came next. Admiral Reyes finally turned to face the crew. His eyes were tired, his shoulders heavy, but his voice rang with unwavering resolve. "We honor the fallen," he said, "not by mourning forever, but by fighting harder, by protecting the living, and by proving that humanity cannot be erased. Every life lost is a spark that lights our courage. Every sacrifice is a reminder that we fight for more than ourselves. We fight for home. We fight for each other. And we will continue to fight." As Earth rotated silently beneath them, the fleet held its formation, battered but unbroken. Humanity had paid a heavy price, but their hearts were stronger, their courage deeper, and their unity unshakable. The battle had taken lives, but it had also proven something fundamental to the universe. Even in the darkest hour, humanity's spirit could not be broken, and their resolve could not be shaken. And as the stars glimmered above, the humans among them knew this truth with absolute certainty. Victory carried sorrow, but it also carried hope. Humanity endured because they remembered, because they cared, and because they would never stop fighting for each other, for their home, and for the future of their species. The alien command ship floated at the center of the shattered fleet, massive and glowing with strange energy. It was the heart of their armada, the source of their orders, and the symbol of their might. But humanity had learned their lesson in this battle. They knew fear, they knew loss, and they knew courage. The humans had survived the first strike, turned the tide, and now the final moment had come. Every life lost, every ship destroyed, every heartbeat of bravery led to this one opportunity. Admiral Reyes stood on the bridge of the horizon, eyes locked on the enormous vessel. His hand rested on the railing, knuckles white, but his voice was calm, commanding, full of quiet authority. "This is the moment," he said. "The alien fleet is scattered. Their command ship is vulnerable. Humanity fights not to destroy, for the sake of war, but to protect our home, our families, and our future. Strike with precision, strike with heart, and strike as one." Every officer and pilot on the ship understood the weight of his words. Every human across the fleet felt it in their bones. This was the culmination of courage, sacrifice, and unity. "Commander." Lee activated the targeting systems, her fingers flying over the controls. Every missile, every drone, every energy beam was synchronized for one purpose: the alien flagship's destruction. "All units, focus fire," she commanded. "Leave no blind spot. Humanity will finish this." The fleet responded instantly, moving as one, a single living organism of determination and strategy. From the cockpit of her fighter, Juno could see the alien ship in all its terrifying glory. It pulsed with strange energy, its shields shimmering with power that had obliterated so many human vessels in the first moments of the battle. She gritted her teeth, heart pounding. "Not today," she whispered, feeling the courage of all, those who had fallen beside her. "Not today. Humanity survives." With a roar of engines, she led her squadron into formation, weaving between debris and energy fire with daring precision. Human drones surged forward like a living swarm, slipping past the alien defenses. They penetrated the hull, disabling weapon systems, collapsing shield generators, and creating openings for human missiles and energy beams. Every attack was precise, calculated, and unstoppable. The aliens, once confident and terrifying, now scrambled, unable to predict humanity's relentless strategy. Fear spread across their ranks, an emotion they had never encountered in a species they thought weak. Admiral Reyes felt pride and sorrow at the same time, pride for the skill, courage, and ingenuity of his fleet, sorrow for the lives lost along the way. The final strike demanded bravery on a scale no one could measure, and every officer, pilot, and crew member gave everything they had. Humanity fought not out of hate, but love for their home, for each other, for the generations yet to come. Energy beams tore through the alien command ship, and the hull began to crack under the pressure. Explosions lit the void of space, painting brilliant streaks of light across the darkness. The alien ship shuddered violently, firing desperately in every direction, but the human fleet was unstoppable. Missiles found their marks, drones swarmed through openings, and human pilots executed maneuvers that defied imagination. Humanity had become a force of nature, a storm of courage and precision. Inside the alien ship, panic erupted. Their leaders, once confident, could not comprehend the coordination, bravery, and intelligence displayed by the humans. The stars were calm now, but the memory of battle lingered in the void. Debris from the destroyed alien fleet floated like shattered dreams, scattered across space. The human ships, though battered, moved in careful formation, surveying the remnants of the enemy and checking for survivors. Every officer and crew member felt exhaustion deep in their bones, yet there was a quiet pride in the air. Humanity had faced annihilation and survived. Humanity had struck back with courage, intelligence, and heart. On the bridge of the horizon, Admiral Reyes stood in silence, looking out at the remnants of the alien armada. The void seemed endless, yet every piece of debris told a story of power once wielded, now broken, of enemies who had underestimated the human spirit. "We have survived," he said softly, voice carrying the weight of both grief and triumph. "We have shown them what it means to strike humanity. But victory is not without cost." Commander Lee moved quietly beside him, her eyes scanning reports of human ships and crew status. "We've lost many," she said, voice steady but heavy with sorrow. "Brave pilots, young officers, they will not return home. But they fought with heart. They gave us this victory." Admiral Reyes nodded. Every life lost was a reminder of the courage that had made this victory possible. Humanity did not celebrate blindly. They honored, they remembered, and they carried the fallen in their hearts. Across the fleet, crews worked tirelessly to repair damaged ships and rescue those trapped in space debris. Engineers patched hulls, medics tended to the wounded, and pilots checked their systems, preparing for the unexpected. Even in the aftermath, humans moved with determination, skill, and unity. Their resilience was unmatched, a reflection of centuries of survival and adaptation. The aliens had learned in the harshest way possible that humanity was not weak. Humanity endured, and humanity thrived even in the face of destruction. On Earth, cities erupted in cautious celebration. People poured into the streets, hugging, crying, and cheering. Families reunited, soldiers returned to their posts with renewed pride, and children looked up at the sky in wonder and relief. Humanity had faced extinction and emerged victorious. News broadcasts relayed the incredible tale of the battle, but the story that mattered most was the quiet courage of the humans who had fought among the stars. Every life saved, every enemy ship destroyed, every act of bravery was a testament to the spirit of Earth. Lieutenant Kieran watched the reports coming in from other human fleets scattered across the galaxy. "Everywhere we fought, the results are the same," she said, awe in her voice. "The aliens are gone. Their fleet is destroyed. Humanity has proven itself across the stars." Her words echoed the reality everyone knew. Humanity had done what many thought impossible. They had faced a superior force and not only survived but triumphed, using heart, intelligence, and courage as their weapons. Despite the relief, there was a quiet sorrow that lingered across the fleet. Families of the fallen received news with heavy hearts, and the void of space carried the silent echoes of lives lost in courage. Each death weighed on the living, shaping their determination to protect what remained. Humanity had survived, but they knew survival was only part of their story. The memory of the fallen would guide them, inspire them, and remind them that courage was never without sacrifice. As the fleet regrouped, Admiral Reyes addressed his officers. "We have faced the unimaginable," he said, voice steady and resolute. "We have lost friends, yet we stand. We have faced enemies we could not imagine, yet we endured. Humanity is not only a survivor, it is a force shaped by heart, by intelligence, and by courage. Remember those we lost. Honor their sacrifice by protecting what remains. We are not finished. We are only beginning." Commander Lee stepped forward, her voice carrying conviction. "The galaxy will remember today. They will know that humanity is unbreakable. They will know that even when struck first, we rise stronger, smarter, and braver, and they will never forget the cost of underestimating us." The officers around her nodded, pride and sorrow mingling in their expressions. Every human aboard the fleet felt it, the bond of survival, courage, and hope that no weapon could destroy. As Earth rotated silently beneath them, the planet itself seemed to breathe a sigh of relief. Humanity had endured the attack, erased the alien fleet, and proven itself a force no species could ignore. People on the surface, young and old, soldiers and civilians, understood the significance. The universe had tested them, and humanity had passed. Humanity had survived, and in doing so had rewritten the rules of what was possible. Across the fleet, pilots shared quiet moments of reflection. They spoke of comrades lost, of battles fought with every ounce of courage, and of the bond that had carried them through. Even in victory, there was humility. Humanity had won not by hatred or destruction alone, but by heart, unity, and the relentless will to survive. Every pilot, engineer, soldier, and officer carried that truth forward, knowing the galaxy would remember this day. And as the stars shimmered around the fleet, humanity's message was clear and unshakable. They were no longer just survivors. They were warriors, guardians, and a species whose courage could never be erased. The aliens had struck first, yes, but humanity had responded, not just with weapons, but with spirit, heart, and indomitable will. The galaxy had witnessed it, and the story of humanity's strength and resilience would echo across the stars forever. Admiral Reyes looked once more at the stars, his heart heavy but proud. "We honor the fallen," he said softly, "by living, by protecting, and by proving that humanity cannot be broken. This is our home, this is our species, and this is our future." Around him, the fleet moved forward, battered but unbroken, ready to face whatever came next. Humanity had survived, and the universe would never forget it. The stars above were calm now, a silent witness to the chaos that had unfolded and the courage that had endured. Across the galaxy, human ships moved steadily, battered but unbroken, carrying the weight of victory and loss alike. The alien fleet, once massive and terrifying, had been erased. Humanity had survived the impossible, not through luck, not through sheer numbers, but through heart, unity, and unwavering courage. Admiral Reyes stood on the bridge of the horizon, looking out at the endless expanse of space. His eyes softened as he reflected on the battle. Thousands had fought with everything they had. Many had given their lives to protect Earth. to protect humanity, and their memory burned brightly in every heart left alive. "We have done what many thought impossible," he whispered. "We survived. We endured. We triumphed." Commander Lee moved to his side, her gaze steady. "The fleet is intact enough to return home," she said. "Repairs will take time, but our people will heal. We've shown the galaxy what humanity is capable of." Her voice carried pride, but also humility. Humanity had won, but they had done so without arrogance. Every human life mattered, and every victory was tempered by the memory of those who had fallen. Across the fleet, crews worked silently, tending to the wounded, repairing ships, and organizing the remnants of the alien fleet as proof of their victory. Pilots sat quietly in their cockpits, staring at the stars, letting the enormity of what had just happened settle in. The adrenaline of battle had faded, replaced by reflection. Humanity had faced annihilation, stared fear in the face, and had emerged victorious. And in that moment, every human understood something profound. Survival was not just about living. It was about protecting, persevering, and proving the strength of their spirit. On Earth, people watched as the human fleets returned, messages streaming across communication channels. Children cheered, families embraced, and entire cities erupted with emotion. Humanity had faced a force far beyond comprehension, and they had prevailed. It was more than a victory. It was a testament to what humans could achieve when united, by heart and purpose. Across the planet, people understood that their species had been tested, and that humanity had passed. Lieutenant Kieran spoke softly to her fellow officers as the fleet moved closer to home. "We've won, but we remember," she said. "We honor those who gave everything so we could survive. Every life lost is a lesson, a story, and a memory that will guide us forward." Her words resonated with every human who heard them. The fallen would never be forgotten. Humanity's triumph was built on sacrifice, courage, and unity, and those truths would echo through generations. Admiral Reyes looked around the bridge, meeting the eyes of his officers, his crew. "Today," he said, voice strong and unwavering, "we prove to ourselves and the galaxy that humanity is not to be underestimated. We endure because we care, because we fight with heart, and because we never, ever give up. Our strength is not only in our weapons, it is in our spirit." Every human present felt the weight and the truth of his words. They had fought, survived, and triumphed, and they would continue to do so, no matter the challenges ahead. As the fleet approached Earth, lights twinkled across the surface. Cities gleamed, oceans shimmered, and mountains stood proud. Humanity had defended its home, but more than that, they had shown the universe the essence of who they were: resilient, intelligent, courageous, and unbreakable. For the first time in history, humans had looked beyond their planet, fought a war across the stars, and returned victorious. Their story would inspire countless generations to come, Juno looking out from her fighter as it joined.